Okay, so I'm about to tell you how to become a teacher in 2026, even if you didn't get a teaching degree. Stay tuned. Alright, so let's figure it out. I can tell you what I know. I can tell you how it's supposed to go. We're gonna do both. I'm gonna look on Google Gemini, like how to become a teacher in 2026. And I'll tell you what's true and what's not. What I did was the alternative certification route because I did not get my bachelor's degree in teaching or education. So I had to get an alternative certification in order to teach in the schools. So number one, where Google Gemini is saying is you can go the traditional route. If you're currently a college student, you earn a bachelor's degree in education. Yeah, very basic. Yeah, point blank period. So if you are in college right now, you don't really need to technically get this alternative certification. Just get a degree in education. You're halfway there. But if you did not get your bachelor's degree in education, and you obviously have one, and maybe it's something that is an actual subject in school, and maybe it's not. Regardless, you are in the boat of alternative certification. So the core requirements: a bachelor's degree, a background check, and GPA standards. Typically 2.5 to 3.0. Number two for their Google Gemini. They basically said, that's what you need in order to become a teacher. It's true, but also it's about the program. You have to take an alternative certification program. So for that program, yes, you do need a bachelor's degree. You need a background check. And you do need a certain GPA. So hopefully, if you have your bachelor's degree, you had a good GPA. Yes, okay? So, number three for Google Gemini, it says pass the 2026 certification exams. I did have to complete exams. Personally, I had to take 3 exams. I took the PPR exam, professional pedagogy exam, or pedagogy and professional responsibilities exam, and that's basically like your psychology of teaching. That's the best way I can explain it. So like a what would you do scenario, or like how are you supposed to react, or like what are you supposed to do in given this scenario, regardless if it's a teaching scenario or like a actual professional scenario. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit hard for me to explain, but just psychology of teaching. That's the best way I can say it. The next exam that I took was the PACT exam. And in the state where I'm in, is the state of Texas, the Texas PACT exam is basically a pre-exam, or like, it's not the actual content exam. It's the pre-exam, the pre-content exam you take in order to qualify to take the actual content exam. The content exam is, what are you teaching, basically. I took the PACT exam in order to take the content exam I wanted to take, was because I didn't get a degree in that field. So the degree I got was in nutrition. What I qualified for when it came to this certification program in regards to teaching, I automatically qualified for 4th through 8th grade science, 7th through 12th grade science, 4th through 8th grade math science. I didn't want either of those. I only wanted to do math. So I took the PACT exam, I passed, and then I took the content exam, the actual math exam you need to take in order to gain your certification. And I passed that one. So those were the 3 exams that I had to take. Now, Google Gemini says your basic skills. Some states require the practice score. So reading, writing, math, though many are not waiving it if you have high SAT scores. That I'm not too sure about. And then your next exam is the subject matter. So if you did special education, or you did 4th through 8th grade science, or you did CTE, which is, what is it? Something technology, I forgot, but basically your electives courses. And the last exam you take is the pedagogy science of reading. So many states now require a specific science of teaching reading standard exam for elementary and special education candidates. So if you're SPED or you're elementary, it seems like you're taking the science of teaching reading, STR. If not, you are taking the PPR, pedagogy. They say the science of reading. All right. So those are the exams. You're in the alternative certification program. And then, mind you, before I got into the program, I did have to pay a deposit. And there's an entire program fee that you have to pay for before I continue. Next thing I did have to get done is my observations. So there's kind of like 2 sets of observations. The main first set of observation you need to observe an actual classroom teacher. Now, the amount of hours is different now from when I did it, but the amount of hours you need, apparently Google Gemini is saying 15 to 30 hours of watching veteran teachers. The program I did, I think my requirement was 20, and then they increased it to like 25, I think. Don't quote me, because they could have changed it again. And then the second set of observations you had to accomplish were when you're in the classroom. So kind of backtrack a little bit. You have to take a 1-year internship in order to gain your certification. With that 1-year internship, you have to have a certain number of observations. So it's like clinical teaching. It's full-time. So actually, this is different. I forgot. 1-year paid internship for alternative certification. If you're in school for education, you do clinical teaching, which is 12 to 15 weeks of full-time teaching. If you're the alt-cert route, 1-year paid internship. You are getting paid as a full-time teacher. That is a plus. I don't really want to go into detail of my journey when it came to that, but just know you get paid your internship. So that's the observations. One thing I did have to do for my alternative certification is take a certain amount of courses. So I had a Canvas profile, and I had a Canvas student account that had 9 courses to take. They weren't too bad. There's a lot of writing, a lot of reading, writing, giving your input and learning about teaching. And matter of fact, in my program, they were saying that those courses would actually help you study for the PPR. I still studied for the PPR a little bit differently, but still, like, that, it was supposed to help you with the information that was going to be on it. It did. And then, yes, that's pretty much what I had to do for the courses. Another thing I did have to accomplish was go to a seminar for capturing kids' hearts. It was 2 days. I had to pick a day that was available, and I went. And it was in a different location. It was in a different city for me, so I didn't have to drive. But I'm just glad I didn't have to drive that far, based on like where I was at in my certification, because based on where I was at, if I was on a time crunch, I probably would have had to go further out, which I'm glad I was grateful I didn't have to. And then, yeah, that was it for me when it came to obtaining my certification. Of course, you do have to apply for your cert, apply for your license, but that's after you finished everything. So I would say this. If you're currently in school and you know for a fact you want to be a teacher, get your degree in education and take the required teaching courses you need to, and then also take the required exams. And you got this. If you're already finished college and you're like me, and you're like, you know what? I think teaching would be a great career for me. The alternative certification program is your choice. Now, I'm not pubbing any certification program out there. I can at least say the one I did was Teachworthy. This is no pub. This is no like sponsor. This is nothing. I did enjoy my program. I enjoyed my field supervisor. She was amazing. And we had a lot in common in regards of like, our profession. So I was really grateful having her observe me. But there's many programs out there and they vary by state. So, and like location. But I'm just telling you my experience of becoming a teacher. I just want to thank you for coming in and enjoying the ride. And I hope you become the next greatest teacher. Bye, guys.